This is Marriage on the Half Shell, Raw and Exposed. So we thought we would take some time, and we've been talking about doing this for a while, and we would go through what is it, the seven
Seven
principles
principles for a good marriage.
for a good marriage. From
Great marriage.
from for a great marriage from the Gottmans. This material has been out there for decades. It's been out there for a long time.
They've done 50 years of research.
Yes.
This is a book, out of a book that they wrote based on the results of that research.
Yes.
I think they have other books too.
Right.
So we just are going to go through, summarize the seven principles.
Right. And we picked this one because I think it's maybe a little more succinct, because we've read other marriage books and they all kind of more or less say that the same.
Yeah,
present the same principles.
Yeah, I read another book that was something about 10 principles, blah blah blah, and that was from a Christian perspective. The Gottmans aren't saying this is from a Christian perspective, but I read both books, and they're really, if you think about it or compare everything, they're really talking about the same things.
Nothing new under the sun.
Yeah, so, it's amazing how the Bible, once again, knows what it's talking about.
Yeah.
So we're going to do it from the Gottman's perspective.
Right. It's very pragmatic, practical. Yeah.
And if you want to go look at the book, well, I'll look for it while Abby's talking. So.
Oh, well, okay. So what we're going to do, spend the next few podcasts breaking down the principles, and our goal tonight was to run through the first two, and a lot of this is going to be some stuff that we've already talked about, but we just felt like
we'll reiterate it.
We'll reiterate it, and maybe have some different perspectives than before.
Yeah.
And we will have some resource materials that we're we're going to put questions and
one of the things would be questions.
Right.
So we'll get to that, but the book is The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work.
There you go.
John M. Gottman. It's not expensive on Amazon if you want to go read it.
Yeah.
But so we're just summarizing the chapters on the principles themselves. We've already he also talks about the 4 horsemen. He's the guy who came up with that. So we've done a podcast on that.
That was a long time ago, but yes, we did.
A while back, so you can find that if you want. But this is about principles, positive principles, to make your marriage work. And so the first one he calls get to know your spouse intimately.
It's not talking about sex necessarily here.
Right. It's yeah. Why don't you summarize what he's talking about?
Well, basically, you need to work on a daily basis on getting to know your spouse and what they like, what they don't like, what their expectations are. This is also probably about negotiating who does what around the house.
Some of it,
things like that. What frustrates your spouse, what makes your spouse happy, those kinds of things. I think that's...
Yeah, that's right. He says, what is it? Joy from feeling known and understood. There it is. Just get familiar with each other's inner world. Like, what do they...
Right.
What do they think and all that stuff. And a lot of this we do when we're dating. We're trying to win each other over, I guess, or you kind of get to know each other, but you don't. It's not something that just ends once you get married.
No. As a matter of fact, it should become there should be stepping up, like.
Yeah, exactly. And this is, I'm going to jump down on our notes, and we can go back, but we've said this before, I think, where, couples should start doing this before they get married. and really get into some of the important things about where you're going, what you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you got to decide if your lives are going to be compatible, right?
Yeah.
And there's going to
Yeah.
be, everybody talks about compromise in marriage, and we've talked about compromise and how you don't have to give up everything. You just give up a little.
Mm-hmm.
Each of you gives up a little to make the other happy.
Yeah.
And so, but if you're just really wildly off, like one of you wants to go live in Africa and dig wells, and the other wants to do something else that's nowhere near Africa,
Yeah.
then your lives aren't going to be compatible. One
Right.
of you is going to completely give up
Yeah.
what you want to do, and you should not do that because that would just breed resentment.
Yeah.
Right. And I know that's a wild example, but you know, stuff like that happens where, what did I say? I can't remember who I was talking to, but I was talking about girls I dated in college
Mm-hmm.
versus after I met you.
Yeah.
And when we met, everything we wanted to do lined up. Right. So I married her, and we're still married.
Yeah. But we had discussions
We did.
about, we knew I was going to stay home with the children. We also had that, we negotiated how many kids we wanted to have.
Yeah.
We decided before we got married that we were going to homeschool our children.
Yeah.
Because we had already seen my mom homeschooled my little brother, and I liked that atmosphere that they had created, and
Sure.
and I had a serious mistrust of the public school system, which endures to this day for a lot of reasons.
Well, we watched
But-
it degrade.
Yes, we did.
Go downhill.
Yeah.
For
So
the past 40 years.
we made all those decisions
Yeah.
before we even got married.
Right. I
You
mean, we
know.
were engaged,
Yeah.
but we at least talked about it before we made that final
Yeah.
absolute commitment of marriage.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to be on the same page.
Right.
Right. And that it doesn't mean that somebody might develop a new hobby, but you have to, or a new vision or
Right.
whatever. Right. But you need to work that out together. Once you're married, you have
Yeah.
to work that out together.
Right.
But as I was saying, you know, some of the girls, a couple of the girls, I should say, and it's not like I dated a bunch of people, but a couple of girls in college, and I thought back about it, and I thought they're all getting college degrees,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all going to be in their fields, and they're going to want to get jobs where they can get jobs.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're going to want to work after getting a degree.
Yeah.
And I was going to work after I got a degree, and I knew where I was going to go,
Mhm.
or thought about, you know, generally thought about where I was going to be. And it just, it probably, I have to say probably wouldn't have worked out,
Right.
because then they would have wanted to do something that would have taken us apart, or one of us would have had to completely give up the life that we wanted, right? And again, as I said, that resentment would grow. So, I mean, people make it work, clearly, but you have to be aware,
Right.
okay? So that's why we say, you know, get to know your spouse. What do they really want to do, right? And if they have no clue, well, then maybe that's another thing you ought to figure out. Because if you figure out after you get married and it's something that's incompatible with your marriage, that's not good either, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, but to make your marriage work, even after you're married, you continue to get to know each other, and don't stop learning about each other. So it's not about doing things like getting your wife flowers or chocolate. It's about talking to each other.
But on that note,
Go ahead.
it's also about knowing what your wife likes.
Yeah.
I've never been a flowers and chocolate girl.
Well, not
You-
flowers anyway.
Well,
I think you're a
but
chocolate girl.
No, yes, I am. Yeah, you do bring me chocolate sometimes, and I appreciate that. But I've never been the flowers you know, you used to get me flowers on a fairly regular basis, but honestly, they would sit on the counter and.
Well, you'd put them in the vase, and they would sit there until they died, and then you'd throw them away.
Yeah, pretty much. I had no sentimental attachment to the flowers at all. So I'm just not, you know, but some women are.
Right. So you got to find out what each other wants.
Yeah.
Like, what is your husband like?
Right.
Too. Right. It's all, and I'll say this. It's like we've talked about sex in our podcast, and that's not directly, I don't think it's a directly a principle, but it should be. But I'm not going to go into that, but that's a physical intimacy thing, and then there's emotional intimacy, which is what we're talking about now.
Yeah.
And I think a man can fall down on wondering, why do I need to keep doing this, right?
Yeah.
And tell you what, guys, I mean, if any guys are listening, you are missing out if you don't, right? Because they feed off each other, right? And we say women will fall down on the, you know, the sex part because they thought, well, I've won my guy, and I don't need to do that anymore,
right?
Or not as much. And it's like, no, you do. There's a whole book of the Bible that addresses this.
Yeah.
And men and women are made differently, and we both have the same needs. We both want the emotional, or we both need the emotional intimacy and the physical intimacy. They're just in slightly different orders.
Yeah.
Right? But they feed off each other.
Yeah.
So if you want better sex, then make sure you're having emotional intimacy with your wife. And if you want more emotional intimacy, make sure you're having sex with your husband.
Yeah.
Don't turn it into a transaction.
Right.
But so again, this is a principle about making your marriage better. So let's see. We've talked about just we'll do questions at the some example questions that we've asked about, or ask each other at the end. But studies have shown that about a 90-minute period per week, not all at once necessarily, but about 90 minutes a week to deal with logistics, right? Everybody does this.
Yeah.
Who's taking the kids where, who's doing what, who's making dinner tonight, or whatever. And then about 90 minutes to focus on each other, and that's the date night. And we've talked about date night.
Yeah.
And it's funny, you know, we always tried to do a date once a week. And of course, it was generally longer than 90 minutes once the kids could be left.
Yeah, once they got older.
With a babysitter. And it's usually 2 to 2.5 hours. So, you know, find a way to do that. But it's funny, you know, it's about once a week, and you need to focus on each other, and you're not talking about the kids, and you're not talking about the logistics and your problems.
Right? Yeah.
And all that. And, you know, maybe some short amount of time each day just to connect with each other each day. So you don't miss a day connecting, because that's really what this is all about, is staying connected to each other.
Yes.
So many people get unhappy in their marriage because the connection has ceased, right?
Well, they've let life come in and crowd it out. The kids, the errands, the, you know, but if they're both working, that's, you know,
right.
All of that can crowd it out pretty quickly.
Right. And
you know,
and we, I think as we do all these things, we think what's more important is to get all this stuff done.
Yes.
Or, you know, we got to make sure we go to the kids' sports game, and we need swimming lessons and all this other stuff. And then we got to do our jobs, and I'm building us a future, so I'm going to work 60 hours a week or 80 hours a week. It's like, no, you're going to destroy your marriage, and that's more important.
Yeah.
Than your monetary, financial future.
Right.
Right. That doesn't mean you don't work hard, but you don't put so many hours in so that you're just grinding away and losing your family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether you're a man or a woman
Right.
these days. Okay. Let's see. We've talked about having a date, and then we talked about questions. Like, so back when COVID was a thing, we
started having stay-at-home dates because we had to.
Yep. So we kept the dates going.
That's actually how this podcast got started.
Yeah, exactly. And exactly. But we started asking each other questions too. So, well, as I said, we'll talk about those at the end. All right. Do we have anything else on this one? Grow together. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we've talked about that too. You know, you may change, you may add a hobby or add a desire to do something with your life, right? So you grow together.
Well, it's not just that. Like, life events are going to happen while you're married.
Yeah.
You lost your dad. That changed you, right?
That's true. Yeah.
And then when I went through all my stuff, you know, about the child abuse and getting all that sorted out, and you know, took Xanax for a long time and a couple other things, and I was drinking, and I had to figure myself out, right? Yeah. So I'm not the person I was prior to all of those things.
Yeah. And
you're different too. So it's not just taking on a new hobby or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, life is going to happen while you're married, and it's going to change you.
That's true.
And you're going to have to adapt.
I mean, you're both going to change. So yes, you adapt to each other. But that's what I mean when I say, you know, grow together.
Yeah.
Work through problems together.
Right.
And it's funny. Yeah, I see. I don't know if we want to talk about that yet.
What's up?
Well, we'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there.
All right.
Okay. So that's the first principle. Really just get to know each other intimately. And it seems like it's you might say, duh, right? Of course. But the thing is, we let it go.
Yeah. It's really easy to do.
You have to be
purposeful
about.
Yeah.
That's the right word.
Yeah.
Purposeful. To make sure it doesn't slip. Okay. Second principle.
Nurture your fondness and admiration or gratitude, the antidote for contempt. And I will also say, because we were discussing this right before we hit the record button, there's a new, it really makes me angry. There's a new set of, I don't have TikTok. Every phone I've gotten has had it already installed, and that's the first thing that goes. But because I'm on Instagram and X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, I see the TikTok videos anyway. And there seems to be this new trend of women, and I don't know why women do this. They get on social media, one of the platforms, and they gripe about their lives. And then they cry, and they get dopamine because they get a lot of attention for that kind of stuff. So, but these women it started a few weeks back. There was one woman sitting in her car, and she was like, well, I have for the past year been planning on my divorce. I know where I'm going to live. I know how we're going to split everything up. I've already worked out how we work the custody of the kids. So there's kids involved. This woman, and then she proceeded to say that her husband was great. He's honest, he's hardworking, he's devoted to the kids, he's devoted to her. But her problem was she doesn't know who she is. She hasn't found herself yet. It's a lot of, it's just, and now I've seen 2 or 3 of these videos, and I just get progressively angrier every time, because these women are just narcissistic, and they're how do I say it? Navel gazing,
I guess.
Yeah, they're really not focused on anything but themselves and what they feel and what they feel they need. So they're not outwardly focused the way a wife should be. especially once you bring kids into the equation. So, what we're going to nurture your fondness and admiration or gratitude, the antidote for contempt. Not just contempt, but stuff like that. If you are nurturing your gratitude for your husband and what he does and how he provides and all of these things, then it's going to crowd out that urge to sit around and contemplate your own navel and come up with this theory that you don't know yourself.
Yeah, I never understood. Of course, I'm a guy, but I never understood what that meant. Like, yeah, I need to find myself. But all the stories I've heard usually just means I'm bored with you.
Yes.
I want to go find somebody else so I can have some excitement. But I think what people don't get is that you enter into this marriage, and we've talked about it. You know, we've talked about the chemicals that the neurotransmitters that we have that get us attached to each other,
yeah.
right? And
yeah.
it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But they change after about a year or maybe 18 months
mm-hmm.
to something where you're more connected and things are more common, and you enter this. The way they describe it, some of it is just the mindset, but they describe it as it's boring. It's like, no, it's not boring.
Yeah.
It's you've entered into a rhythm of marriage where there's no drama, because nobody really wants or needs drama.
There are women who do.
Well, so we've talked about this.
Yeah.
Drama just gives you the dopamine hit.
Yeah.
But it's like there's just dopamine. Our bodies aren't meant to have constant dopamine hits.
No.
You're meant to have oxytocin and vasopressin and things that keep you connected.
Yes.
And that's what marriage is about. And then you have kids, and then you can get, you get a little dopamine here and there because it's still valid, but all the time, if that's all you're after, it's like you're addicted to cocaine.
Well, but also, I mean, you generate other ways to get that dopamine. For us, I will get it. Okay. Sorry, Sarah, you're about to hear something you probably shouldn't hear. I will get it. We'll be laying here in bed at night, and I'll just be reading my book, and I will reach over and I'll put my hand on your chest, and I'll just run my fingers across your chest. And you actually said it a couple of weeks ago. You were like, need a little dopamine? I was like, yeah, I do. So, it's not that you don't still get the dopamine. It's that you develop ways to get that from each other. I get a big dopamine hit. Okay, we have one of our things that we do now, and we've been doing it for a long time, is our date night is Friday night. But I always think of date night as starting on Thursday. On Friday, my workout is, I'm going to go and I'm going to move around, but I just want to go home. I just want to go home, take a shower, get ready to go, go on our date. That's, Yep. So, and then you usually are off half day on Friday. So we usually spend some time together. It starts Friday afternoon, right?
A date day.
Yeah. So, but then we'll do whatever we're going to do. And tonight it's this is our date night.
We had just had a great dinner.
We did have a great dinner, and we spent some time together this afternoon. And we'll spend some more time together when we're done recording.
Yep.
But we might stay up a little later Friday night, watch a movie. We might drink a couple glasses of wine, something like that. But we get up on Saturday morning, and we lay in bed for a long time. We just kind of lay here, and it's like, we'll get up when we're ready.
Yeah.
Most of the time. There are Saturdays when we can't do that.
Right.
But we go to, we meander downstairs, and then we have a big breakfast together, which is we don't do that any other morning of the week.
Right.
Right? And we might sit there and talk for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And that conversation will start with, I read this thing, and it will end up way the heck down there somewhere and not even where we started.
Yeah.
And that generates huge amounts of that's enough dopamine for me for the whole weekend. It's like, so what I'm saying is, it's not that the dopamine goes away. It's that you together discover new ways to generate it for each other.
Yes, that's true. And yes, I mean, if you're looking for, if you're, I don't want to think that all the stuff I see on the internet is the only thing.
I think a lot of it's propaganda, to be honest.
But a lot of it seems to be people who didn't have a father, for instance.
Well, there's a lot of that.
They don't know how to be social properly,
right?
Or they their whole growing up years were full of drama, and that's the only way they feel anything is to have drama. So they tend to create it in their marriage, or when it's not there, they think, oh, I'm bored. Like I said, it's like, well, I'm bored. It's like, you're not bored. You're narcissistic.
Yeah.
You think everything has to be drama.
Right.
But it doesn't, and to the not a counterpoint, but you need to figure out how to bring excitement into your own marriage.
Yeah.
Right? Not outside the marriage. You don't throw away your spouse and destroy your kids' lives to get some excitement, right? Or to find yourself.
Yeah.
Or to go on a healing journey, or I don't know who I am, or, all these weird therapeutic sounding terms that just mean I want to go out and cheat.
Most of the time, yeah.
That's what it is most of the time,
yeah.
from what I can tell.
Right.
And it just destroys so many lives. So what we're trying to tell you is there are ways to wean yourself off the bad drama, dopamine hits, and find it within your marriage.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's
I mean, it requires a lot of communication and negotiation and all of that kind of,
But that's what your marriage is about.
What we just talked about a little, a few minutes ago was you're figuring out this person.
Yeah.
Right. And you're figuring out what they like, and they're figuring out what you like.
Right.
Right. So that's, nurture your fondness and admiration for each other. It is tied to the last principle. Right?
Yeah.
Because you have to figure your spouse out so that you can do those things. But we did a whole podcast on gratitude. I don't know how much more I can emphasize that one.
That seems big one.
It is a big one, and it seems so I don't know, contradictory, I guess, because it really only involves two little words. But so many people are so full of themselves and have so much pride that they struggle to say those two little words. Now, here's the problem, though. They won't struggle to say it out in the world to their boss, to their coworker, to their girlfriends, to, I'm talking mostly to women here, to their hairdresser. These people.
Guys can do it too.
Well, they can, but men, I think, they feel less appreciated. I think that's something that men struggle with more than women do. Because women, we do this thing where it's like, yay, good job, and we cheer each other on, and we do, even if we don't mean it, we still say it. It's true. It's true. It's true. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know that men get as much of that unless they're part of a male group where they all go out and do things together. That, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I can say thank you different to each other.
Yes.
In different ways.
But I've heard a lot of men say, I can live off one compliment for a week.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
I've had experiences like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you, how can I describe this one? It's like, okay, walking through Walmart.
Yeah.
And I was looking for you, but you were all way on the other side. It was one of those giant Walmarts. And I was coming out of one section and saw this person, And just for a split second, thought I recognized them, and I just smiled.
Yeah.
Right? Looking right at them.
Yeah.
And they smiled right back.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. And then I saw it's like, well, I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
So it was really, there was no interaction.
Yeah.
But just seeing somebody respond.
Yeah.
Like I thought about, I'm still remembering it now. It was probably 2 years ago. But yeah, I mean, we can live on something like that.
But see, women aren't we're not geared that way. We need more, we need more, I don't know what you call it, affirmation or whatever.
Yeah, but I think we've talked about this, some of it in How to Train Your Dragon, that episode.
Yeah.
It's like if you thank somebody.
Yes.
Just show appreciation, and it should go both ways. Then people feel great.
Well, and see, that's what I was saying is that but women, I've seen that stupid TikTok videos again, but women like, why should I thank him? He's just doing what he's supposed to do. It's like, he needs reassurance. But he needs to be thanked, even if you think it's this minor thing. It's not that difficult to say those two little words. You have to swallow some pride. You shouldn't have to, but you're going to have to swallow your pride and do it. And I have made this, I comment sometimes on marriage stuff on Twitter because I follow some happily married people. And, I have said repeatedly, a man who feels your gratitude will move mountains for you.
Yeah.
Because he knows his worth and he knows that he is appreciated.
I think that's true. If he feels unappreciated
and disrespected,
then he also feels disrespected.
Yes.
And he's like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
I just want her to be happy.
Yeah.
And then, men can go down the wrong path.
Yeah.
With that. And then you end up in this weird dynamic, where neither of you are happy.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't mean the dopamine happy. I'm just talking about this underlying discontent. You know what I mean when I say feeling unappreciated for stuff you do.
Yeah.
But if you feel appreciated on both sides, then you will do more. You'll say that felt good.
Yeah.
I'm going to do more of that.
Yeah.
And then you get thanked again.
Yeah.
And it goes both ways. And, and we've talked about this, the fact that the guy does dishes.
Yeah. And
puts them in the dishwasher. It's like, it doesn't matter if they're loaded, not the way you would have done it. It does not matter.
Yeah.
It's, if you say thank you, he'll feel appreciated and he'll do it again.
Yeah.
And guess what? Those dishes will get cleaned. No matter how they're loaded.
You and I are the opposite. On the opposite
we
end
are.
of the
We've talked about that too.
Because, we describe it. How did I see it? What was something I
You're
saw?
You're a rabid raccoon. And...
Yeah. It's something like in a marriage, one of you will load the dishwasher like a Swedish architect, and the other one will load it like a rabid raccoon.
Yeah.
And for you and I, it's the opposite. I'm like, I had 6 kids. I just wanted the dishes done.
Yeah.
I don't care how they went in the dishwasher. As long as they got clean, I don't care.
But I don't
go,
I don't go behind you.
You do sometimes. Sometimes you do.
I would say 99.9% of the time, I do not fix anything that you have done.
Yeah.
Even if I have the urge. Right? I appreciate that you did it.
Yeah.
But the 0.1% of the time is like, okay, those 2 plates are stacked together. One of them isn't getting clean, so I'll change it. Right? But other than that, I don't care. And you don't care.
No.
So
we've actually
these things out.
No, we've talked about this before in this podcast, how the kitchen is my thing. If the kitchen is a mess, then I'm going to be a train wreck.
Well, you feel like things are out of control.
Yeah.
life is not
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I do.
And I understand that. So, when I make a mess in the kitchen, I'll generally clean up after myself. And you do the same thing.
Right.
But, yeah, when you have kids, we get that. Kids make a mess and you just train them to clean up after themselves and then you thank them. It's not that hard.
It's easier said than done.
I know.
I have one, and I will not say her name, who does not do dishes. Or she will let them pile up in the sink all day because she is busy making memories with her kids and taking them places and homeschooling them. That is her priority.
Her priorities are in the right place.
So when we go to babysit, we'll go over there and both sinks will be completely full of, and I'll go down to the bottom of breakfast. There's breakfast dishes in here.
Breakfast from 2 or 3 days ago.
No, I know. It's not that bad. No, it's not that bad. Because a lot of times we go over there and we unload the dishwasher first. So it's like, okay, she did run it.
Doing dishes, right?
And I think right now she's trying to train the kids to do it too. So that's great. But like that's a lower priority for her. Higher priority for her is doing things with her children, which I totally get. Anyway, but we're way off the subject. Okay. So I'm
it's
just,
amazing
I'm just
saying thank you and being grateful.
That's all I'm saying. Ladies, it does not require a lot of effort. It doesn't. It does not matter how small the thing is that he did. Just say those 2 words, for crying out loud. Yeah. This is not hard.
That's true.
Just because you might have to swallow your pride a little bit, for God's sake, make your husband happy and say thank you. Yeah. This is not complicated.
It goes both ways, but yes. So here's a quote, because I want to expand this beyond just saying thank you.
Okay.
Though it is an antidote, we said, this is our title. Their title is Nurture Your Fondness and Admiration. Mm-hmm. Okay. And part of it is being grateful. If you, as Abby said earlier, if you're looking for positive things.
Yes.
So this is an intentional, purposeful thing where it's like, I'm just going to look for the positive.
Yeah.
And then acknowledge it and maybe verbally acknowledge it, but at least acknowledge it in your head.
Yeah.
And then when you have the chance, acknowledge it verbally by saying thank you. Our title was Gratitude, the antidote for contempt. But, anyway, so by simply reminding yourself of your spouse's positive qualities, even as you grapple with each other's flaws, and you both have them, and you will have to grapple with them, you can prevent a happy marriage from deteriorating. So fondness and admiration, also gratitude, are antidotes for the contempt. If you maintain a sense of respect for your spouse, you're less likely to act disgusted with them when you disagree. Okay.
Right.
So it's saying, it's like you're going to have disagreements. You're going to, even if you've talked about all the big important things before you got married or after you got married or whatever, you're going to have disagreements here and there. And the thing is, you will continue to have disagreements all the way through your marriage.
Yeah.
And it's just something that doesn't go away. And that's okay, because you each have a different perspective on the thing you're looking at, and you should value that. Okay. But then sometimes you just have a disagreement, and you don't want to have this disgust reaction or disrespectful reaction or contemptuous reaction where you're looking at them as if you're better and they're not better.
Yeah.
They're disgusting because they're wrong. It's like, if you admire them and you're fond of them, then you're going to say, okay, so we disagree. Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
And then you just do that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really, I think people make marriage more complicated than it needs to be.
I think
it is complicated to live with another human being and share space with them, share a bed with them, share a kitchen with them, share meat, all of that stuff, right? It's hard to live with another human being.
Sure.
But there are so many like basic principles.
Mm-hmm.
That's, it's what we're discussing here, that just make life peaceful.
Yeah, that's true.
And peaceful is another kind of dopamine that I think a lot of women don't think they need, or they never experienced it, so they don't, they don't know what it looks like necessarily.
I think it's true, but it's true, man. I mean, I keep saying that because you're not bashing women, but you're like hounding them a little bit.
Yeah, they need to be. I've seen too many of these TikTok videos the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So, and it's hard for me to discern whether that's a lot of propaganda, whether these women are being paid to say this nonsense or if this is real.
Yeah.
But if it's real, it's some of the most disgusting narcissistic behavior I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
So, this is something that we've practiced our entire married life. We don't bash each other out in public. That we do not talk negatively about each other to friends, to relatives. We don't
Right.
do that. And I have talked to other women about that. It's like, I don't want to hear it. Just, don't do that. That you need to go home and talk to your husband. You need to work this out.
Yeah.
But don't do that. And I've been in groups of women where it's like it's starting to happen. And they'll see me kind of like Homer Simpson disappear into the bush. Nope, I'm out. I'm not doing this. I'm not participating. And I've said it before on the podcast, but I've told you that the worst thing anybody ever hears about you is that you snore. That's it. That's, yeah. So it can be tempting when you're, especially a group of pecking hens, when they all get together.
Okay.
And they start about their husbands. It can be, it's an easy thing to do, to sit there and go, I can generate something.
I think
I could say.
They want to fit in.
Yes, they want to fit in.
So they generate something. But as soon as you start doing that, you're putting it in your head.
Yeah. Yes. And then you're going to look for it.
And then you start looking
and
for
you're
it.
Gonna see it.
And you're looking for negative.
Yeah.
Versus looking for positive. And, of course, that whole thing ignores the fact that there's some negatives about you.
Yes.
That people, not just your husband,
yeah.
people are overlooking.
Yeah.
But you get this sense of, I don't know, self-righteousness
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And you fit into the group, and what does the group do? They validate your complaint. And it's like the dumbest thing. I mean, we did a marriage seminar at our church. And,
yeah.
And one of the things we found when we were doing some research, I don't know if we've said this before, but was, and maybe you've heard it, but in a group of female friends,
mm-hmm.
as soon as one of them gets divorced for whatever reason, that the chances that others in the group will get divorced goes up. Something like 50 to 70%. I can't remember the number,
mm-hmm.
but it's up there.
Yeah.
And it's because they want to fit in with each other. And they drive each other to do it. And the more in the group that get divorced, that puts extra pressure on the women that have a good marriage,
mm-hmm.
and to do the same thing,
right?
To continue with the group,
yeah.
And I always, that baffles me as a guy. It's like you'd rather fit in with a group of women who couldn't keep their marriage together rather than just keeping your marriage together. But this happens, and it just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's like a social phenomenon, kind of. Yeah.
And I think some of it maybe is social media.
Yeah, it feeds it a lot. I mean, there's women spend also a lot of time
in addition to just being in a group,
right?
And I think the problem is that if a woman has a wife has done this, nurtured this. She's fond of her husband. She's only been looking for positive things.
Yeah.
And then this sort of thing happens in the group where the other women are complaining, just like what you feel. It's like, I don't know if I want to be part of this group anymore.
Yes.
Because I'm looking for good things.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe you can stay the first time and say good things about your spouse.
That's what I do. You know, I will interject. I'll say something about your snoring and make it kind of funny.
But that's not positive.
But no, but you know,
I mean, it's negative,
just like.
But it's not a positive, like, I don't really have anything to complain about.
No, I have, and I've said that, and you know, whenever I talk about you, I'm at the gym, you know, so whenever I talk about you in very glowing terms.
I appreciate that. I know you do too. I don't talk to anybody because I work from home. So. No, I mean, like if I'm on a work call or something like that, every grade once in a while, we'll be waiting for somebody and we'll talk about, I mean, literally we don't talk about anything but business because it's weird. I mean, we're all working from home.
Yeah.
We're calling from our office, so nobody actually meets in person anymore. and it's fine because it works for us. But, you know, every now and then we'll be on early and we're waiting for somebody else to join. And we'll say, how you doing? Blah, 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 do all that stuff. And it's like, it's only positive.
Yeah.
Talk about your family stuff or whatever. And it's always only positive.
Well, it's a mixed group though, right? It's men and women.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, yeah.
So the men aren't going to sit there and listen to a pecking hen, yeah, about her husband.
I mean, we would for like a few minutes, and then we might say,
"See, but that's
we'll
how
come back later."
But that's how that's a men-women thing. If it's a mixed group and they're all out together, girls aren't going to do that. Generally
unless
not.
You've really lost your way.
Yeah,
you're not going to do that.
Yeah, so it's more.
All right. All I'm saying is that's the extent of my social interaction with work people, and it's always only been positive.
Okay.
It could be because it's mixed.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it is. Yeah.
Okay, fine, and I'll accept that. But that's a good thing because I don't want to be negative.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay. Have we covered this? Have we beat this to death?
I believe we have.
All right. Okay, so the big thing is to express gratitude and appreciation. Let it crowd out any criticism.
Yeah.
Right. And that doesn't mean if something is like really wrong, you can't talk about it. Right. But don't criticize. You bring some stuff up and you say, you know, we can talk about this. Can we blah, blah, blah. I appreciate this. I appreciate how you did this or whatever. Would you mind, you know, the next time do this?
Right.
That would help too. And then when they do it, or even if they don't, because they forgot, you still thank them.
Yeah.
You know, don't keep criticizing.
Right.
You just thank them. And chances are they're going to go, oh, yeah, I should have done it the other way, right? And yeah, well, still, thank you. But then they'll go back and do it.
Yeah.
And you get each other built up and all that.
Yeah.
All right. So we said earlier, you know, for the first principle, we're only going to cover these 2 principles today. There's a total of 7. And we'll get to the others another episode, but I'm going to just throw out real quick a few questions that we've used, but you can go out there and find questions for free.
You can also get the decks of cards like Amazon and
Amazon.
all out.
You know, just different sources because you get different questions, and we've done that. I kind of feel like we've run the gamut, so we need to search on some new stuff. But every time I look, it's like, yeah, we've done that, we've done that, we've done that.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes it's like we've said this. I think we've said this before. We'll go through like 10 questions real quick because we're just not feeling it.
Right.
Or, we'll answer the question, but there isn't a deeper thing. But then we hit that one question and that just sets us off and we start talking really deeply about it. And then that morphs into another conversation about something else.
Right.
That's what we do on Saturday mornings. Or even, sometimes, a weekday morning, Sunday morning too, where we'll just talk about something that we've heard.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a question. And we say, I heard about this, or I learned this.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Right.
And then we talk about it. And then next thing you know, we're at the end of an hour or two. We say, oh my goodness, we better get our day started. But we've talked about like 10 different subjects that all just naturally flowed.
Yeah.
And it's natural to us. I understand that it may be a little more difficult for people who haven't done it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something you do. You have to just start doing it because we didn't take a class. We just started doing it, and then we ended up talking about stuff. And we did this with our kids too. And when we talk to them, and then they'll come over and we'll start talking about one thing, and the next thing you know, the conversation just naturally progresses on to another subject or whatever. Okay. And also you can go out and figure out how, YouTube is amazing in this sense, is that, you can figure out how to talk to people. So if you practice that, then you can talk to your spouse and draw them out about what they think about things.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, go do that. Okay. So here's something we did. Pretend you could restart your life when you were 10 years old, but you know everything you know now, all your knowledge and your experience. You can't change the timeline, right? You must end up with your current spouse to get married to and expect to have the same children that you have, if any. What would you do differently as you live that life? And we just started talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one.
That one's pretty loaded.
Yep.
Yep.
And we talked about things we definitely would have done differently. In our life in the past.
Yeah.
What would you do? Second question: what would you do if you were gifted $1 billion? Yeah. Today, $1 million doesn't seem like enough. So $1 billion, you can give some away, but assume you have a lot left. What are you going to do?
Right.
Right. What is your opinion of our physical home, and what changes would you make? So that's kind of dreaming about, if we were ever to do a project that somebody gave us some money for, or we just happen to save up for something, what things will we do?
Mm-hmm.
Or even little things. You can make little things, little changes, and you never know. All right. How do you think your life would have been different if you lived 100 years ago? Number 5. What qualities do you value most highly in friends? 6. What is the one thing you would most like to change about your personality? 7. How have you changed in the past year? 8. Have any of your life goals recently changed? 9. What were the best and worst things that happened to you when you were a teen? And this may drag out some stuff that you don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
But need to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how Abby and I worked through some serious issues.
Yeah.
We weren't thinking about this question, but that's basically what happened.
Right.
All right. What's the most exciting thing happening in your life right now? You probably ought to know this already. If you've been keeping up with each other. What goals do you have for yourself right now? Then it's kind of interesting questions like this, like number 12. Would you rather be 10 minutes late or 20 minutes early to anything that you're going to?
Right.
Now, I think we had a half-hour conversation about that, because you're talking about why. I think Or 15
I don't
minutes
remember.
at least. It's like, why 10 minutes late or 20 minutes early? Would you rather be invisible for one day or be able to fly for one day? And let's see, your best and worst vacations with your family. Talk about your parents' marriage. Was it good or not? I'm not going to read all of them, dear.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
15. So there are a ton of questions out there. The Gottman book has some questions.
Yes, it does.
The internet has tons of questions.
Yeah.
Google couples questions. And as Abby said, you can buy decks of cards where you go through the cards and ask those questions of each other. And then just think of, as we've talked about, just what did you learn today? We've kind of been falling down, but we'll take a walk in the morning and together to kind of get warmed up for exercise, and we'll talk about something we learned.
Right.
Or we'll take a walk in the evening and talk about something we learned that day. Right. And it could be something really simple, but then it just starts a conversation.
Right.
And you keep talking and you find out about each other. So that takes care of, going back to principle 1.
Right.
So that's really it for those first 2 principles.
I think we covered it.
And we'll do, not sure the next episode will be principles 3 and 4, because we've got other things we'll sprinkle in.
Yes. Yeah, so there's a couple other topics.
See how things go there.
Sure.
But
yeah.
We'll get to all 7. And the 2 big ones at the end, we're going to do them at the end, even though they're 5 and 6 in the book, are how to deal with conflict.
Right.
And but we've got let's see. I'm not going to read through them all. So I think we'll be able to get through 3 and 4 next time.
Okay.
And
we'll figure it out from there.
Then we'll figure it out from there.
Okay.
Anything else? You're laughing at me.
No. Nope. I can't think of anything.
All right. Sign us off then.
All right. This has been Marriage on the Half Shell, Raw and Exposed. Have a good evening.